Has construction equipment like forklifts, bobcat loaders, backhoes, excavators, and more. Reserve online at eaglerentals.com. That's eaglerentals.com.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, here we are. We've made it to another Friday. And what a day it is. A little rainy out there. Ugh. Cheer up. It's just a little water. 844 Studio 4 gets you right here on the scoreboard. Boy, oh boy, do we have quite a bit of news for you here today. The NHL trade deadline was today. The Carolina Hurricanes were awfully active. You know, in the week leading up to today, 1 week, so from last Friday to today, we had 42 trades in the NHL. 42 different trades. Today alone, we had 23. And yesterday, late last night, the Carolina Hurricanes hit on a blockbuster. And then earlier today, they continued to add, got a little bit more depth for their team. And it seems like we have set rosters for the push to the playoffs. We are going to cover that in segment number 2 today. That is the biggest developing story as we go through the day. Boy, oh boy, were there a lot of trades in the NHL. Also in the news, NASCAR's this weekend. Yeah, we get to go NASCAR racing at Phoenix. And actually, as we talk, I believe we have practice either ongoing or just wrapping up for the NASCAR Cup Series. We're an hour into practice, actually, and right now, here's how things stack up. Joey Logano, your fastest driver. Denny Hamlin, second. Tyler Reddick, who's having a very good start to his season, third fastest right now. But it's just practice. We got to wait until Sunday to get to the Cup Series race. And it's going to be a good one. I'm excited. I like the new package. I think losing the downforce is going to help out the short tracks. We'll see what happens when we get there. Also, Formula One racing from Saudi Arabia. That'll be tomorrow. We have a starting lineup for you. IndyCar starts their season at St. Petersburg this weekend. And as I was told, the NHRA season also gets underway. We won't cover all of that. We're going to stick with the NASCAR, maybe get into some other motorsports. But if you want to talk about one of those going on this weekend, you can always call me up at 844 Studio 4. That's 844-788-3464. If we have the chance, if we have the time, I want to get to the NCAA. We had some games last night. We had one upset last night in the top 25. Tonight we have a couple of ranked teams playing. And then this weekend, that's it. Conference tournaments are going to begin Selection Sunday next weekend. Be ready. The NCAA tournament right around the corner. But today we're going to start the way things we always do here in the high school area. And what's going on today in high school? Well, we have what I guess we would consider the Elite Eight in high school playoff basketball. Yes, 1A, 2A, 3A, 4A, men's, women's, all in action tonight. The women's games are getting started as we speak. The men's games, 7 o'clock tonight. We have those for you right here. Starting with, let's change things up a little. Since they're starting first, let's start things off with the women's side of things. Starting with the 1A as we always do. Right now, on the west side of the bracket, we have the 1 seed Mountain Heritage taking on the 4 seed Albemarle. The 3 seed Cherokee taking on the 2 seed Bishop McGuinness. In the 2A bracket, North Wilkes, who drew the 1 seed, takes on number 12 Lincoln Charter down there in Huntersville within our listening area. This is the women's, so the 12 seed got a couple of upsets, got themselves into the Elite Eight here. Now they run into the number 1 seed, North Wilkes. And on the other side, East Burke takes on East Rutherford. That is a 2 playing a 3. In the 3A women's tournament, number 1 seed AC Reynolds. Oh, yeah, it seems like all those 1 seeds are moving right along here. They take on the 5 seed Ben L. Smith. And another 2 and 3 matchup, West Rowan takes on East Lincoln. And for that 4A women's bracket, the 1 seed Watauga takes on number 4 Myers Park. Number 3 Charlotte Catholic takes on Lake Norman. That game for Lake Norman, for their women's team. They are the 2 seed. They are the favored team. They take on Charlotte Catholic. All those games, like I said, they are tipping off as we speak. We won't have the results for you here on the scoreboard today, but if you tune in on Monday, obviously we're going to go through everything that happens Friday night into the weekend, into Sunday, even Monday during the day. A lot of things can happen. So we'll have the results for the women's bracket for you on Monday. Let's chat real quick about the men's side of things and all of the teams that we had been covering every single day here on the scoreboard. They've all been eliminated except for one. We will get there. Starting things off in the 1A bracket, South Stokes takes on Thomasville. That's a 1 versus 5. Number 3, Bishop McGinnis takes on number 2, Corvian Community. In the 2A bracket, Reedsville, the number 1, takes on number 12, West Stokes. And West Stokes, they upset number 4, Pine Lake, my alma mater, last week. Ben Daniels was very excited about that. I'm assuming he went to West Stokes. You know, we don't talk about them all that much. They're not really in our listening area. But the 1 seed taking on the 12 seed there, and then on the other side, number 6 Randleman takes on number 2 Salisbury. 3A bracket, we have been talking about the run that Hickory High School has been on since the beginning of the year. They still have not lost. They are the 1 seed. They take on number 4 Southern Guilford later on tonight. And then on the other side, number 14 Ben L. Smith takes on number 2 Central Cabarrus. And finally, we get to the 4A bracket. Mooresville was eliminated earlier in the year, earlier in the playoffs. And I forgot to mention, Statesville High School lost to Crest as well earlier in the 3A tournament. Those are the teams that we had been covering every day here on the scoreboard that were eliminated. But we have one left, like I said, who is still in play. Number 2, Lake Norman. Yes, the men take on number 11 Chambers High School tonight at 7 o'clock. And then on the other side of things, Myers Park takes on number 5 North Mecklenburg. And as always, we will have the updates for you on Monday. We also have high school baseball going on. That's going to take a back seat today as we got to touch on all of those playoff basketball games in the area. We're coming back with NHL talk, hockey talk, the trade deadline today. We got about a month and a half to go in the season here. It's going to be a sprint to the finish. Did Carolina do what they needed to do? Maybe. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to The Scoreboard. We're back after this.
More of Sports Director Joe Berg's The Scoreboard is coming up on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
A rain on the way will kickstart the weekend on a wet note. Clouds continue to thicken up and the rain moves in by early Saturday morning. Some of it could be heavy at times through the first part of the day. Then heading into the afternoon, rain will start to taper off. It's still cool in the low 60s for our Saturday. By Sunday, more sunshine back. We'll end the weekend on a cool note around 60, and that'll kickstart a stretch of dry weather heading into early next week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Here is your WSIC community calendar. MuralFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at muralfest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Coin collectors, get ready! The Statesville Coin and Currency Show is coming to the Statesville Civic Center March 16th and 17th, featuring over 60 tables of some of the finest coins around. For more info, contact Bill Brewer of Carolina Prospectors in Statesville. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show, Statesville Civic Center, March 16th and 17th. Eagle Rentals in Statesville is celebrating you and the wonderful community they serve. Come to Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day, March 16th from noon until 4 p.m. Fun for the whole family. Kids and adults are welcome. Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day, March 16th, 3435 East Broad Street in Statesville. Want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex? How about a Triceratops? Dinosaur World Live is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Friday, March 29th. That's not the only fun family adventure coming to the Kane Center for the Arts. Dinosaur World Live, Friday, March 29th. For tickets and to see the entire spring lineup, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Little Shavers Wood Shop and Building Supply is your one-stop source for winter electric and torpedo heaters, heat lamps, pine and cedar shavings, ice melt, and snow sleds. Plus year-round items including PPG paints and stains, tools for plumbing and heating, and automotive supplies. Over 55,000 warehouse products available. You'll find Little Shavers on Facebook and online at littleshavers.com. That's LILshavers.com.
The Scoreboard with Joe Berg continues now on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
We are back here on the Scoreboard. It is segment number 2, 844 Studio 4. That's our phone number. It'll get you right here, part of the show, part of the program, whatever you want to talk about. You know, we are going to get into the NHL, but if you don't want to talk about the NHL, I have no problem with you calling me up and saying, hey, I got a question about this. So call me up, 844-788-3464. 23. That is the number of trades that took place on deadline day in the NHL. Now, yesterday we talked about the Carolina Hurricanes and how close it seemed they were to getting Jake Gensel to join their team from the Pittsburgh Penguins. And, well, right after we went off air, as I said, it was just a couple of hours later, that trade did become official. The Carolina Hurricanes pushing their chips to the center of the table, going all in on this season. Here's the full trade. Jake Gensel and defenseman Ty Smith, who is a AHL player. He probably won't be making the NHL roster. They both go to Carolina. In return, Pittsburgh got quite the haul. Carolina, man. What are you guys doing? Michael Bunting, Vasily Pomarov, Luis Krusis, and Ville Koivunen. I'm going to say that those are their names. I tried my best. Those are the 4 players, 1 NHL player and 3 prospects going to Pittsburgh. And doesn't stop there. A conditional 2024 second round pick and a conditional 2024 fifth round pick. Here is the condition. If the Carolina Hurricanes go to the Stanley Cup Finals, the second round pick becomes a first round pick. If Carolina wins the Stanley Cup, Pittsburgh gets that pick back, that being the fifth round pick. Sounds to me like a lot, but when you really pack into this thing and unload it and say, all right, what did we give up? We gave up Michael Bunting, who was having a very down year, who was making $4.5 million. We gave up 3 prospects, one of which has not been signed, all of them under the age of 21. Now, prospects, you can think about what you like with them, but they're hit or miss. They may work out, they may not work out. The draft picks, I mean, if it ends up being a first-round pick, that means Carolina made it to the Stanley Cup. So you can't be too mad at that. If they don't, it's only a second-round pick, and they still have their first-round pick this year. I'm not mad at the trade. I'm not. I actually think that they did a really good job getting this thing done. The other thing that happened, though, along with this trade, this one happening late last night, early this morning, the Hurricanes turned around and made another deal, this time with the Washington Capitals, and this one kind of out of nowhere. Evgeny Kuznetsov, 31 years old, winger for the Washington Capitals, gets sent to Carolina. In return, Washington gets a third-round draft pick. Whoo! If anybody knows anything about Kuznetsov, he's been a really good player for a long time. Spent a lot of time playing with Ovechkin. He's the guy that has that, like, bird celebration. I think it's ridiculous, number one. But that is the other player that Carolina brought on to the team today. And after that, Carolina sat back and said, we don't need to participate in the chaos anymore. We got our guys. Take a break from the NHL talk real quick. We're going to take this call that came into the studio. Caller, you're on the scoreboard. What do you got for me today? Uh-oh. Uh-oh. Caller, are you there? Do, 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 do. Don't prank call me. I'm joking. Call me back, 844-STUDIO-4. So Carolina has their team set, and as we talked about, they also got Freddie Anderson back, their goaltender. He was activated off the injured list for the first time since November. He started a game on Thursday, and he got the win. 4-1 win against Montreal. Great way to come back to the team. And look, I will tell you, if Anderson does end up coming back and being himself, Carolina didn't need a goaltender. But it was a major question mark whether or not he would be back. And the reporting on this was kind of spotty. It was a lot of, okay, Anderson is skating, but there's still no timetable. And then it was, okay, Anderson is now practicing, but there's no timetable. We don't know when he was going to come back. Going off of that, I thought, cover yourself, get a better goaltender just in case something happens and Anderson cannot make this comeback. Didn't turn out that way. He made the comeback. So technically, kind of in a way, Carolina gets 3 assets here at the deadline. A goalie and 2 wingers. That's not a bad day. Not a bad day. There were some other massive trades going on around the NHL. Let's go with the one that happened right at the buzzer. So this was right at 3 o'clock. And actually, if you pay attention to the NHL trade deadline, it's so chaotic that, yes, the deadline is at 3 o'clock, but there are so many trades in the queue waiting to get approved by the league that trades will be reported at like 4:30 in the afternoon. And it's like, wait a second, thought the deadline was at 3. Well, it's no more calls at 3, but anything that was submitted still has to get processed. This was one of those that came after 3 o'clock. The defending Stanley Cup champion, Vegas Golden Knights, made a trade with the San Jose Sharks. They sent them a 2025 first-round pick and David Edstrom. In return, the Vegas Golden Knights got Tomas Hertl. Many of you might not be familiar with that name because he plays over on the West Coast in San Jose. San Jose hasn't been a very good team for a while. But a lot of the NHL throwing their hands up in the air and saying, how can we compete with Vegas at this point? I don't know how they do it. I don't know how they assemble the roster that they have. But they get everybody. You know, yesterday we talked about they traded for Noah Hannafin, a great defenseman for the Calgary Flames. He now goes to Vegas, and now you get a forward. These are elite players that Vegas is bringing in, and they still have a first-round pick in the draft this year. I don't know how they do it. I don't. But that was a huge trade. Vegas, man, they're not the number one team right now. They aren't leading their division. They're kind of in the wild card spot right now. But these two trades, it's another move where you go all in. There was another team in the Metro that was very active today and yesterday, that being the New York Rangers, the team that Carolina is trying to catch up to. We talked about their original trade with Alex Wenberg from the Kraken. A second and a fourth round pick was the trade on that one. And, well, they were even more active today. And a semi-big trade took place. The New York Rangers traded for 27-year-old Jack Roslovich. And all it cost them was a fourth-round draft pick. Now, Roslovich is a pretty good player. 27 years old, making only a couple of $1 million. That's a good trade for the Rangers. And if I'm Carolina, I see what the Rangers did, bulking up the depth of the team. And I'm saying, man, it looks a lot like what they did in 2022, not versus what they did in 2023, where they went for the stars. In Kane and Tarasenko, they got eliminated first round. The Hurricanes didn't even have to meet the Rangers in the playoffs, and they kind of got a pass to the Eastern Conference Final there. But with the team that the Rangers have, with the way they've been playing and shoring up their depth now, if the Hurricanes do meet the Rangers in the playoffs, that might go 7 games. That's going to be a very good series. And the Rangers and the Hurricanes have been running into each other in the playoffs a lot recently. I know there's a lot of fans for both of those teams in this area. So that's going to be a very interesting one with the Rangers and what they've done. There were a ton of other trades. Like I said, 23 of them today. Over the past week, 42 total trades. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to a break. When we come back, I want to wrap up some of the other big deals that were made in the NHL. Some of them will affect the Hurricanes. Some of them won't, to be honest. But these are the trades that should be discussed because, man, not blockbusters. We already discussed the blockbusters, but they are still big moves. So don't go anywhere. We got a lot of NHL coming up. Then we'll get on to NASCAR, and we'll see what we can do in terms of the NCAA. Don't go anywhere. We are back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
A rain on the way will kickstart the weekend on a wet note. Clouds continue to thicken up and the rain moves in by early Saturday morning. Some of it could be heavy at times through the first part of the day. Then heading into the afternoon, rain will start to taper off. It's still cool in the low 60s for our Saturday. By Sunday, more sunshine back. We'll end the weekend on a cool note around 60, and that'll kickstart a stretch of dry weather heading into early next week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
Does your business provide coffee for employees or customers? Black Powder Coffee can supply you with fresh roasted coffee, a variety of daily signature blends including flavored coffees such as cinnamon roll and Kahlua and cream. We even have bourbon-infused coffee in collaboration with Southern Distilling Company. Visit blackpowdercoffee.com or stop by and see us at 261 Rolling Hill Road in Mooresville. Black Powder Coffee.
Getting quality employees to fill positions in your company is essential, but finding those people can be a major hassle, unless you use ZipRecruiter. ZipRecruiter makes finding quality people a breeze. And right now you can try it for free at ziprecruiter.com/free. With ZipRecruiter, one click sends your job to hundreds of top job sites. But more than that, ZipRecruiter's advanced technology identifies the candidates with the skills you need, sends you a list of great matches to review, then actively invites them to apply for your job. And the results speak for themselves. 4 out of 5 employers who post on ZipRecruiter get a quality candidate within the first day. That's right, the first day. Now you can focus on your business and let ZipRecruiter do the work finding the best people for you. See for yourself. Experience the ease, efficiency, and power of ZipRecruiter for free. Just go to ziprecruiter.com/free. That's ziprecruiter.com/free. ziprecruiter.com/free.
Happening now at Randy Marion Ford Chevrolet in Statesville.
How about a new car, truck, or SUV? What a better way to start 2024 than at Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville. Randy Marion Ford Lincoln taking advantage of a special purchase of 2023 Mazda CX-30s. These are the carbon editions starting at $24,770. You pick the color. Here today, Randy Marion Chevrolet in Statesville, Randy Marion Ford Lincoln. We have got the king of price deal. Like always, 2024, come see them today.
President Biden recently released a massive $6 trillion budget, the largest budget in U.S. history. And guess who pays the bill? That's right, you, the American taxpayer. American citizens and business owners will be paying more taxes. That's a fact. And if you owe back taxes, they will be coming after you to collect payments. In fact, President Biden also hired thousands more IRS agents to go after you. If you got a letter from the IRS and you know you owe back taxes or you haven't filed in years, don't put your head in the sand. Call us today. We've saved our customers millions of tax dollars. One quick, free phone call will show you how we can reduce your past tax bill and save you thousands. Guaranteed, or you pay nothing. Call now.
800-218-6440. 800-218-6440. 800.
As the NASCAR Cup Series motor's on, don't miss any of the action right here on WSIC. This weekend, it's the Shiners Children's 500 from Phoenix Raceway. Sunday, March 10th at 2:30 on your home for NASCAR, WSIC.
Have your say.
Trusting the government to fix anything is a joke.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't even trust the banks with our money.
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
This is a Bloomberg Money Minute. Stocks made an about-face today with losses across the board. The Dow was down 69, 0.1%. The S&P lost 34, 0.2%, and the Nasdaq lost 188, or 1%. Acting Labor Secretary Julie Su says today's jobs report feels like the definition of a soft landing. The Labor Department says the economy added 275,000 jobs, more than expected, and while the unemployment rate did tick up to a 2-year high, the 3.9% is still near historic lows. It's been a bad week for Boeing. Today, a Boeing 737 aircraft ran off the taxiway and veered into a grassy area in Houston. No one on the United flight was injured, but it's the third incident this week for Boeing. Boeing shares today dropped 7%. Short on time and running out of options after its scuttled merger with JetBlue, Spirit Airlines is now looking to debt holders for a lifeline. Analysts think Spirit may be forced into bankruptcy, reorganization, or even liquidation. I'm Nancy Lyons, Bloomberg Radio.
Talk sports with Joe Berg. Call 844-STUDIO-4. It's the Scoreboard on 105.9, 100.7 WSIC.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. It is now the second half of the Scoreboard here on this Friday. 844 Studio 4. That is the number. We're going to get into the NHL. We're going to keep talking about it. But actually, we had a caller call into the studio right as we were coming back from break. So let's go ahead and see what we got here. Maybe it'll actually be a caller this time. Caller, you are on the scoreboard. What do you got for me today?
Hey, Joe.
Hey,
right?
How are you today?
Good, man. I just wanted to ask you kind of a weird question, I guess. Do you have a bio posted that I could read? Because I'm absolutely stupefied by the sports sector that WSIC has picked up with you as a sports director. It's kind of an amazing thing. I've lived in this county for years and always wanted to hear good quality sports analysis. And buddy, I'm going to tell you, you got it. So just wondering where are you friends with Justin, or how'd you get hooked up there?
So actually, I was here before Justin had purchased the studio. I had a once-a-week show, and then that ended for a little while. But when ownership changed over, Justin reached out to me and said, hey, why don't you come on back over here and head the sports that we're going to have on the station? And that's kind of how I got connected doing this daily thing here at WSIC.
Yeah, Justin has now become the brightest man I know in that he hired you. Listen, man, I haven't been an NHL fan for a number of years, but I'm telling you, you put some pizzazz in it, so I'm going to start paying attention. That's for sure. The other thing I wanted to ask is, do you know how to find internet stations that broadcast the high school playoff games? Because I've tried and I can't find it.
Yeah, it's really weird with that. I feel like a lot of it has to do with the actual school and whether or not they are set up to have the ability to do that. Because I have looked for some of those streams, and as you get into the state playoffs, you will see like the actual state streaming those. I would refer you over to the NCHSAA website. That'd be nchsaa.org. They usually post those things if it's provided to them. Otherwise, you'd probably want to just reach out to the school because those are all handled by the individual schools.
Gotcha. All right, man. Well, I didn't intend to mess up your NHL mojo because I was really enjoying it, but I just had to ask.
Hey, I appreciate the call, and man, if you're gonna get back into the NHL, I'll tell you what, now's the time. Are you a Hurricanes fan?
I am a Hurricanes fan, actually.
Look, I'm telling you, it's gonna be an exciting run to the playoffs, and you never know, but they've had a team now over the past 3, 4, even 5 years where they at any point could win the Stanley Cup. So it is definitely an exciting time.
It is indeed. And inspired by you, I might add.
Well, I do appreciate the call. Thank you very much. And call me back and talk sports with me anytime you'd like, all right?
All right, Joe. Appreciate it, buddy.
Absolutely. Thank you for that call. And anybody else that wants to call in and chat with me, 844-788-3464. That's 844-STUDIO-4 for the phone number. Let's get back into that NHL talk. We've covered the Carolina Hurricanes and all of the moves that they've made, some really big moves. Jake Guentzel is going to be an immediate impact player. You will see his name on the score sheet often. Now, it might take a week or two for him to get settled into the new team, but I promise you, this is a big move for Carolina. Guentzel was the number one fish on the board, all right? He was the guy. There were tons of teams. I was seeing reports that the Rangers, the Golden Knights, the Flyers were in on him. Everybody was asking the Penguins about Guentzel. Carolina ends up getting that deal done. He is going to be an immediate impact player. Now, there are other teams in the Eastern Conference that made some moves, besides just the Rangers, who are their immediate competition in the Metro. In the Atlantic Division, we had a few moves as well. Now, I want to at least touch on these because they are important in the grand scheme of how the playoffs are going to go this year. The Boston Bruins, they made a interesting move when they decided to acquire Patrick Maroon from the Minnesota Wild. Now, Maroon is older. He's 35 years old, but he fits what the Boston Bruins do. Big, bulky, in-your-face, mean teams. That is Patrick Maroon right there. That's going to be a big team. Not many people expected Boston to make a move like that, but they did it, and I think they're going to be better for it. You know, they had a lot of loss last year with David Krejci, Patrice Bergeron, both retiring. The team wasn't the same as that record-breaking regular season team last year, but they're not as good this year, so they had to make a couple of moves to get some players into the system. Also, we touched on this as well. The Florida Panthers, they made the big move the day before the deadline to bring in Vladimir Tarasenko. That's going to end up being an impact move for them. And today, they brought in Kyle Okposo. Now, Kyle Okposo has been buried in Buffalo for a few years. He's a pretty good player for your bottom six, you know, your third and fourth line, and he's a great locker room guy. That's a good move for Florida, man. They got a couple of really good pieces here at this deadline, and it's going to be a bloodbath, these playoffs, I'm telling you. The major contenders in the East, at least as far as I can tell, it's going to be Florida, New York, and Carolina. Boston may or may not be in there, and, you know, Toronto, whatever, man. I'm not counting Toronto anymore. Not until they can make it to a conference final. Go to the Eastern Conference Final, and then I'll consider you a real team again, okay? That's going to wrap up things in the NHL. The deadline just happened. Rosters are set. Now all you can do is call up players from the AHL or send players down to the AHL. So you got what you got. Carolina has a big game coming up on Tuesday against the Metropolitan leading New York Rangers. So with these new rosters in place, let's see what happens. That's going to be a big test for Carolina coming up. And I do expect them to put up a fight and come out victorious on that one. We had a couple of minutes before we hit our final commercial break. I just want to let you know what we got coming up. When we return, we're going to get into NASCAR. NASCAR Cup Series racing at Phoenix this weekend. The ARCA Series is there as well, and Xfinity is there too. No truck races this week. They have an off week, but ARCA is tonight, Xfinity races tomorrow, and then the Cup Series race on Sunday. Also, we're getting close, ever so closer, creeping our way in to March Madness and the NCAA tournament. Conference tournaments coming up. We got a few games in the lineup here tonight. A couple of ranked teams not yet in conference tournaments. A couple of conference tournaments. App State plays a game over the weekend in the Sun Belt tournament. So we'll see what we can do, how much time we have once we get through the NASCAR talk. Maybe touch on some Formula One, some IndyCar. We got to get our motorsports in. You know this area. Race City, USA is right around the corner. We're close to Wilkesboro. We're close to Charlotte Motor Speedway. It's a racing town. Final segment on this Friday before we head off into a wonderful weekend. Don't go anywhere. Final segment coming up. 844 Studio 4. That'll get you right here on the Scoreboard. Don't go anywhere. We are back right after this.
This guy knows his sports, right? There's more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on the way on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
A rain on the way will kickstart the weekend on a wet note. Clouds continue to thicken up and the rain moves in by early Saturday morning. Some of it could be heavy at times through the first part of the day. Then heading into the afternoon, rain will start to taper off. It's still cool in the low 60s for our Saturday. By Sunday, more sunshine back. We'll end the weekend on a cool note around 60, and that'll kickstart a stretch of dry weather heading into early next week. That's your forecast from the WSIC Weather Center. Hope you have a great weekend. I'm meteorologist Chase Myers.
is your WSIC community calendar. MuralFest is back, April 25th through the 28th at Wilkes Community College, featuring nearly 100 performers, including Old Crow Medicine Show, Sam Bush, Turnpike Troubadours, the Teskey Brothers, Nickel Creek, and more. Tickets and information at muralfest.org. Listen each morning to Good Morning LKN for your chance to win tickets. Coin collectors, get ready! The Statesville Coin and Currency Show is coming to the Statesville Civic Center March 16th and 17th, featuring over 60 tables of some of the finest coins around. For more info, contact Bill Brewer of Carolina Prospectors in Statesville. The Statesville Coin and Currency Show, Statesville Civic Center, March 16th and 17th. Eagle Rentals in Statesville is celebrating you and the wonderful community they serve. Come to Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day, March 16th from noon until 4 p.m. Fun for the whole family. Kids and adults are welcome. Eagle Rentals Customer Appreciation Day, March 16th, 3435 East Broad Street in Statesville. Want to see a Tyrannosaurus Rex? How about a Triceratops? Dinosaur World Live is coming to Kane Center for the Arts, Friday, March 29th. That's not the only fun family adventure coming to the Kane Center for the Arts. Dinosaur World Live, Friday, March 29th. For tickets and to see the entire spring lineup, visit canearts.org. That's CAIN arts.org. Have an event you would like to tell people about? Yard sales, estate sales, and everything in between? Visit WSICnews.com and click on events to submit your event today.
Got a Toyota? Get it serviced at Quality Car Care of Statesville. Looking for a great pre-owned vehicle? Quality Car Care has you covered at 2040 Old Mountain Road. Visit QualityCarCareStatesville.com.
Be a part of the conversation.
We can't fix America's debt by starving its people.
Have your say.
One shooting after another, and we're doing nothing to solve it?
This is WSIC News Talk Now.
Now more of the Scoreboard with Joe Berg on 105.9 100.7 WSIC.
All right, everyone, we are here. It is the final segment on this Friday. 844 Studio 4. If you want to be a part of the program, you absolutely can. I don't care what you want to talk about. Give me a call. That's 844-788-3464. Here's something interesting that was just brought to my attention. And it has to do with Carolina and the trade that they made. So, as part of the Jake Gensel deal from the Pittsburgh Penguins, Carolina got Ty Smith, currently playing in the AHL. He is a defenseman. The thing is, Carolina does not have an AHL affiliate this year. The Chicago Wolves are no longer an affiliate. They are an independently owned franchise now. So Carolina's AHL players are just kind of scattered throughout the AHL, which makes it interesting when you trade for a player who is playing in the AHL and you don't have an AHL affiliate. Well, where should you assign them? Well, Ty Smith, he doesn't have to go anywhere. The Hurricanes have decided to just let him continue to play for the Penguins AHL affiliate. So even though the Penguins traded him away, he's still going to be in the AHL team. Interesting situation. Carolina definitely needs to get an affiliate, and they need to do it soon. They should have never lost the Checkers, but, you know, what am I to say? I'm not here to judge, just here to chat. Let's move on to some bigger and better things here after we chatted about hockey. Man, we had a lot of NHL talk today. Here's a I got some breaking news here. Running back Derrick Henry is unlikely to return for the Titans after a 8-year run. I'm also hearing Saquon Barkley's not going to be back, and this is why you should not want to be a running back because there's just too many of them. You could draft one if you want. You can draft 2 of them if you want. You can even draft 3 of them if you want. You're bound to hit on one. So why would you even sign a free agent running back? We'll see. I don't know if any of those players are actually going to get picked up anywhere, but I wasn't trying to talk about the NFL right now. We're in the off season. It is not time for football. Although we are getting close to spring football, which maybe we'll get into that here on the scoreboard. If we can come up with a team for us to just follow and just stay behind one team in the United Football League, we'll do it. It'd be fun. We're going to talk NASCAR here because the Cup Series heads to the location of the championship, that being Phoenix, Arizona. Phoenix race is on Sunday. It's the Shiners Children's 500, and this is a big one. I just said it's the location of the championship in November. So if you are expecting to be a championship contender, and at this point in the season, everybody should expect that, you're going to want to make sure your Phoenix setup and your Phoenix car is correct. Now, there is a different package in short track racing this year. They limited the amount of effect the rear diffuser has on downforce, so the rear downforce is a lot less. That's going to make it harder to control these cars. Less downforce means you got to work the wheel a little more, so maybe it'll be a little more entertaining of a race. But they did have a test for this at Phoenix back in December. Christopher Bell was one of those drivers who participated in that test. Here is what he says about how the Phoenix test went for him and his team.
We showed up on the 2023 package. We had a great Phoenix. We didn't finish the race, but I thought our car was super fast. So we had an opportunity to work on the setup and we nailed it for the test. We showed up and we were super fast. Now, with that being said, we start changing rules packages, and we definitely lost our edge. I don't think that running the 2023 rules package at Phoenix has anything to do with what we're going to go back there with. But we were fast as hell when we showed up. That's for sure.
And I'll tell you what, I do expect Bell to be a contender. Yeah, he fell off with the new package, but everybody's got to deal with this new package. He's just one of the lucky drivers who actually got a chance to drive it before we race on it because he was a part of that test. I think I read it was either 6 or 7 drivers that were a part of that in early December. Like right after the championship, they got some testing done in Phoenix. Christopher Bell was one of those drivers. Now, with the new package, the race could be a little bit different. So here's what Eric Jones says about what fans should expect to see with this new short track package at Phoenix.
Well, we hope more aggressive moves. With the downforce that we had, our consensus was that you couldn't really drive the car hard. We didn't have a tire soft enough to complement how low the downforce was, and so we couldn't really be aggressive in many situations. With this package, we got some downforce back in the car. The diffuser we've went to the simplified one seems to let us slide around a bit more, and overall we hope it's just going to be a little bit more racy, more aggressive than what we've had.
I'm expecting a good race. I am, and I know Phoenix disappoints a lot, but I expect a good race. Now we're talking Phoenix. Let's go over some of the odds for the race this weekend. Kyle Larson, still the favorite, although I don't expect him to come away with the victory on this one. I'm going to maybe say something that isn't going to be too popular, but my pick for this weekend at Phoenix is going to be Denny Hamlin. Yeah, I know. Not many Denny Hamlin fans out there anymore. Man, that Atlanta race, he wrecked in stage 1, he wrecked in stage 2, and he wrecked in stage 3. I know there's not many people who are too ecstatic with Denny Hamlin over the past few years, but he's still a good race car driver. So I got him victorious this weekend at Phoenix. Like I said, we do have ARCA there this weekend. So here's the full schedule. We'll go over it one more time. 8 o'clock tonight, the ARCA series is live. The General Tire 150. You can see that on FS1. Tomorrow, Xfinity qualifying at 1 o'clock, Cup qualifying at 2 o'clock, and the Xfinity race at 4:30. Sunday, 3:30. 2:30 for airtime here on WSIC. The Shiners Children 500 presented by MRN. We will have that race for you right here on WSIC. It's the final weekend before we get to Selection Sunday in the men's NCAA tournament. We have tournament games going on. We have regular games going on as well. But some big games this Saturday, including Duke versus North Carolina at Cameron Indoor. That's going to be a very electric atmosphere, and it very well could decide which one of those teams is going to be the better ranked team going into the tournament. Let's end this Friday on a nice little positive note here. Today in sports history, on this day in 1930, Babe Ruth signed a 2-year contract for a then huge $160,000 with the New York Yankees. Why is this significant? Well, because the GM at the time, Ed Barrow, said, "No one will ever be paid more than Ruth." I don't think the minimum contract is less than what Babe Ruth got paid. Everybody gets paid more than him at this point. Shohei Ohtani's getting like $700 million. Deferred. He's getting $680 10 years from now. Oh man, what a funny comment to have. And $160,000 just kind of seems like a joke in today's day and age, doesn't it? Also on this day, baseball player and manager Casey Stengel was elected to the Hall of Fame. He played with the Yankees from 1949 to 1960, and then he was the New York Mets' first manager. Also, 1980. I'm sorry. I got the wrong year then. 1986. The 7th Big East men's basketball tournament ever, St. John's beat Syracuse 70-69. And let's see, can we squeeze one more in there? I think we got time for one more. Let's see, is there anything recent? I highlighted a couple of the older ones, but let's see if there's anything a little recent. I saw one that was pretty interesting. Let's go to this one. The 45th men's ACC basketball tournament, 1998. The 45th tournament. Number 4 North Carolina beat number 1 Duke 83-68. Possible rematch coming up for the ACC tournament? Possibly. I could see it happening. Hey, thanks everyone for joining throughout the week. Thank you for calling and thanks for listening. Check out the high school basketball playoffs tonight. NASCAR over the weekend. Charlotte FC in Toronto this weekend. Have a good one, everyone. I'll see you on Monday.
Serving you better than ever before. 105.9 100.